Mamas, and welcome back to another episode on the Mamas Who Brunch. I am Gelina, your host. And before we get started, I want to remind you guys, please subscribe to my channel. I depend on you guys to continue putting content out there for you. I hear from you, I see the views, so please make sure to subscribe as well. But today we're going to be talking about the value of traveling before you have kids. And this is based on my own personal experience. My husband and I were married 9 years before we had our daughter, Sophia, and we traveled everywhere. We knew going into the marriage that we wanted to go to Europe for our 5-year anniversary. We ended up going on year 6, and we've been to Europe 3 times together. We've been together, just the two of us, once with family, with friends. And then we went to Japan right before I got pregnant with Sophia. So we've also done so much traveling inside the US. We've been to New York City several times, Miami, Chicago, California. We've been in national parks. We have done cruises, and there's a reason why we have traveled so much. I do feel like at different seasons, it meant something different for us, but I'm so glad that we took the time to build our marriage as a foundation, and then also just connect together as husband and wife, like develop our relationship and have that personal autonomy, our individual autonomy before we had kids. So our world now revolves around our daughter, and I love her so much. And we still travel, but it's definitely not to the same degree that we were before. And I know we'll get back to that. It's more of a choice of why we haven't traveled, mainly because it's so much work. Like taking all the bottles and taking the pack and play and just like the logistics is like harder than I thought it was going to be. And some people power through it, but like we're just not those people. Like I would rather stay home and enjoy my time versus like it being more work to go somewhere. That's just my preference. But we will not always live in this space. But this is the season of marriage that we had where we traveled was so beneficial for us. And it was amazing to get to experience new things together. And we started traveling. So if it's been, now that's been like 7 years ago. So we were like early 20s, and it really developed who we were as people. My whole worldview changed when I started traveling. For one, I would say, to start with, everything you like see, hear, taste, smell, touch, like everything you experience is developed by your environment. So going to these places, I feel like when I went to Europe, I would research like how do women in Europe dress, and it's very modest. It's very clean. It's very simple. In a lot of ways, it's very stylish, and they wear tennis shoes, and it's all about walkability, and they live their life this way. And that was a big reason why we wanted to live in the city, because we went to Europe, we went to New York, we saw the walkability that impacted us. We wanted to live that way. And in Europe, they don't drive everywhere, they walk. And so that was a big influence for us because we saw the value of living. I don't know why America has like massive suburbs and counties and districts. Like, I don't know why our city is set up this way, our cities, but it's just different in America. So that was like a big thing for us. It impacted the way that we lived. So that's just like more of like personal style standpoint. And the architecture, the design was very influential for me. I love interior design. I've renovated 2 homes. One of those was historical. And so I've been inspired by like Upper East Side, New York architecture and European architecture, French, even Asian influences. And so you'll see that in a lot of my design in my home. It comes from all the travels and experiences that we've had together. So as taste, before I traveled to Tokyo and Japan for the first time, I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss out on opportunities to try new food. So I started making myself eat sushi because I didn't want to miss out on opportunity. And that's the beautiful thing about travel is it pushes you out of your comfort zone. And now I'm addicted to sushi. I love it. I've had omakases in Chicago, New York, I think LA, like Brandon and I have had, there's so many sushi dates that we have. Here in St. Louis, we have amazing sushi. Sato, shout out. They are incredible. It's some of the best sushi I've had in the world. So whenever you've been somewhere, you become an expert because when you witness something, it's different than reading about it, hearing about it. You can see it and experience it for yourself. So it really just hones in who you are as an individual, as a person. You get to experience history in such a beautiful way, and it grounds you. It honestly shapes your worldview in a lot of ways because it makes you realize how small you are and where you live in your bubble in your world. And it makes you willing to hear and listen to what other people have to say versus just believing what you've heard your whole life. And it makes you challenge things because you've seen something different. You've seen something new. And for Brandon and I, it's impacted a lot of our political views because we've been to these other countries. We've seen how their economy works. We've seen the lack of homelessness, the cleanliness of the streets. We've seen the equality in healthcare, the access to healthcare. And when you physically see those things, it changes your perspective of things in America. And I still love my country. I don't think it's the best country in the world, and that's because I have seen different. And you know when you see. And so I know that's going to raise a lot of hate, but I will say, don't shoot the messenger. Just go see for yourself. That would be my challenge to you. If you want to challenge that viewpoint that I have, sorry, let me turn off my fan. Go experience it for yourself, and you will find out what I'm saying is true in your own way. Okay, so those are just some of the main things, just personally, your style, your taste, your experiences, your worldview, your perception of the world. One of the things I love about traveling is I thought it would be very odd or alienating to be somewhere where you don't speak the language of that country. It's actually super freeing because you get to go in public and everybody's talking around you and you can't understand the context. And you're kind of just sitting there and it just becomes like background noise. To me, it's actually peaceful because just imagine going to, I don't know, a burger place in America and there's a group of teenagers next to you and they're just talking nasty or whatever they're doing. And it's you don't want to hear all that. And when you're in Europe, if they're doing that, you can't tell because you can't understand what they're saying. So it's kind of funny. It's an inside joke because if you've experienced that, but that's been kind of fun, going somewhere and kind of pushing yourself to learn a little bit of the language. I don't speak anything else. I know sign language, but I don't speak another language because I've traveled, but it just pushes you out of the comfort zone. You have to rely heavily on technology. That's one of the things that Brandon is very good at. He's very technical. So he kind of plans everything out before we go. We know where we're staying, if it's a safe area. He's done the research and how to get around, basically buying your tickets, train tickets, bus tickets. We have an idea of where we want to go eat. And you do have to kind of do some research beforehand because when you get to these countries, a lot of they don't use Google and Yelp like we do. They have other metrics and forms that they judge good food. And sometimes it is good just go explore and find it for yourself. But we're foodies. We want to have a foodie plan. So we watch a lot of YouTube videos. YouTube is one of the best ways to find experienced travelers that have had good food and they've had good experiences. So highly recommend if you're going to travel, watch some good YouTube videos. There are people that have done what you want to do and they can help you navigate an amazing vacation. So I've touched on a lot of the travel aspects and the personal development. Let's talk about the connection as a couple. So whenever you travel together, there is nothing that pushes your limits more. When you are in a country, you don't know anyone, you don't speak the language, you don't have the same currency, you have to learn how to make decisions quickly. You have to navigate new environments. You step out of your normal routine. You see each other in a very different light. And it honestly creates a lot of resiliency in you as a couple because you're, a lot of times things don't happen the way that they were planned. So you have to learn how to pivot and be okay with pivoting and making sure that your whole world isn't derailed because something happened, right? I could share some experiences. So we went to St. Thomas one time and we showed up and Brandon had gotten the time wrong for getting a rental car. And so we didn't think we were going to be able to get a rental car. And if you don't have a rental car in St. Thomas, you cannot get around. It is hilly. It's an island. You can't walk around it. It's impossible. So we were very alarmed that we were just going to be stranded the whole time. But it worked out. He was able to call around a few places and we found this hoopty car. It looked like it had been wrecked. It was horrible. But that's just how it is in some countries. You don't have clean rental car companies like we have here in the US. So that's what I mean. You just kind of learn how to handle stress. I can't say that. I do get stressed out in stressful situations, but I also to an extent. I feel I've been in so much pressure in my life, in my careers, and because of traveling, you kind of just learn how to okay, plan A didn't work. Let's go with plan B. You just learn how to navigate stress. You learn how to make a plan together. And when things don't go perfectly, that's kind of part of the experience. It's part of the adventure is things are not going to go perfectly. So have the right expectation before going into that trip or that travel. And when we traveled, I feel it created a foundation that we could really stand on because what did it do? It got us out of our normal environment. We had uninterrupted conversation. We would laugh about a lot of these experiences that have happened. And then it gave us shared experiences that only we have. And I think that is probably one of the most important reasons why you should travel before having kids. And after you have kids, like let's say you already have kids and you want to travel, do it. Do it, do it, do it, because it will give you such connection between the two of you. When you guys get old, when we get old, we're all going to get old. All we have is our memories. We have photos, we have memories, we have videos. Sometimes our memories fade. We have the pictures of these trips. And those are shared experiences that you cannot replicate. A lot of people plan their life out. One day I'm going to do this. One day I'm going to do that. When I have enough money, I'll do this. After this project, I'll start this. Like it's always things in the future. And guess what happens? Life gets busy and it passes you by. And then before you realize it, you're like, I never got to do the things that I wanted to do. And that's what creates so much discontent and unhappiness later in life. Do it now. Make it a priority now. Sacrifice here and there. Save up money. If you want to do something, you will do what it takes to make that happen. I'm a firm believer because if you want it bad enough, you will work hard and you'll make it happen. So I'll get off my soapbox. But spontaneous trips were fun. One time, Brandon and I decided, like the day before, we were going to take a road trip to Wyoming, and it was a 19-hour drive, and we were in the car the next day. And we went to Yellowstone National Park and the Grand Tetons, and it was so much fun. So you just have fun. Like you stay out late. We would have dinner late every night. We would like take the days slow. We'd eat brunch. Brunch is like one of our favorite things we do together. We stayed just present in those moments where we're traveling because we have that undivided attention, right? We were somewhere new. And I think when you're new, you have ideas. I've had a lot of my best ideas when I'm traveling. It just sparks creation. And those shared experiences create a deeper love. It just bonds you as a couple. It builds your story. You'll have so many of those, like, remember when we did this? Remember when we had this dinner? Remember when we didn't almost get a rental car? There was one time we got an Airbnb and we showed up and it was full of mold. There was one time that we forgot to book a seat. We like bought train tickets to go from Paris to London, and we bought the tickets, but we didn't reserve the seat in time. So all their seats were reserved. It's like stuff that you just don't know until you get out there. Like get out there, experience it. So what we did, we had to book a flight. There's just things that happen, right? It gets hard, it gets tricky, but that's what makes the funny stories, the memories. That's life. That's the life that you want. And when Brandon and I'll speak for myself. When I die, I want my daughter, one of the things I want her to say about me is that I lived life. I didn't let it pass me by. I wasn't a part of the life. I created the life that I wanted, and it was full and happy. And when you travel, you build something. It teaches you how to be present and joyful in the moment, no matter what's happening. And it gives you hope for the future. You feel inspired when you go back home because you've been in a fresh environment. And I think for us, it created space to where we didn't feel like rushing to get to, okay, let's rush to have a baby. Let's rush to have another one. Like it kind of helped us take a break and really evaluate what did we want out of life for ourselves and for our kids. It obviously opened the door for romance. There's nothing more romantic than being in Paris. We were intentional, right? We made intentional trips. We would travel for anniversaries, birthdays, holidays. It opened the door for just those beautiful conversations at tables that we had never sat at before. We didn't get in a rut. And I think that that's another thing, like traveling just keeps you moving forward. It doesn't allow you to stay in one place, right? Because you're on the move. And it kind of helped us not like rushed past those early years of our life. Like I feel like we really valued that time. And it also gave us sustainability spiritually because it let us see God in other places. It let us see God in our life, right? Because when you see the world around you, it's a reflection and it shows you what's in you. And we had spiritual conversations in all of those trips. We would talk about the Lord, and it gave us an environment to do that. And God is very intentional about wanting you to, He wants us to ask and seek. And I think that that was a way we did this. Traveling was asking and seeking. And it wasn't just seeking something we didn't have. It was just broadening our view of life. And if you are single and you are traveling, I think just focus on, or you're a single parent, just focusing on how it develops you and prepares you for that next chapter of your life. You learn what you enjoy. You decide the kind of life that you want to live. gives you perspective that you cannot get unless you travel. And you don't want to skip that season of life, because having self-fulfillment is so important to be fulfilled in a marriage or even as a mother, whether you're married or not. And for us, that came through travel, and it just rooted us as a couple. And now we have pictures to look back on of the places we've been. We have our stories, we have our memories, and nobody can share that but us. It's only for us. And I think that that's what's so cool is, I have no regrets. I have no regrets that we waited. I have no regrets that we traveled. I can't say I wish we traveled more, because there were times we were going like every month, we're going somewhere crazy. So I think I know we traveled, but whatever you get from this, I hope that you get the value of just be intentional as a couple. And even if you can't travel for whatever reason, be intentional with your time, take date nights, spend time together, build memories that just the two of you share, because you'll never get this time back. And after your kids move out, you're going to be like, okay, now what? It's just the two of us. Your whole life up to that point has been about your kids. If you don't have a solid foundation for the two of you, you can become very miserable. And I've seen it. Kids should not be between your marriage. They're part of your family, but the marriage is between you and your husband. And part of that is developed and grown by spending quality time together. And in another episode, you'll hear me talk with Sarah Kirsch, and it has to be incredibly intentional to spend time with your spouse, because your time is just like sucked away as a parent, right? Your kids will take 100% of your time if you let them, because they're so needy and they're the best. Like they're everything to us. And I have had to learn early on. I think Sophia just like dominated like every part of me, to where it was just like I had nothing left. Like I was exhausted. I wasn't fulfilling myself as a person. I wasn't being fulfilled as a wife, because I was so focused on her. And I think that that was for a season. I think that that was important to develop our bond. But now, being intentional with what I want to do with my life as an individual, as a couple, what's next for us, not just as a family, now that we have expanded our family, but for Brandon and I, like that is so important to keep the bond that we have. And so we took a trip. We just went to Washington, D.C., the two of us. And this is our second trip that we've done since we had Sophia. The first one, I was very early postpartum. Like I was like 6 months. We went to Chicago, and it was a very nice trip. Like we rested a lot, but it was too early. Like I missed Sophia so much. It was really, really hard. And Brandon did too. And so this trip was a lot easier because she's bigger, and she stayed with her grandma and grandpa, and we got pictures and videos, and I trust them 100% with her. Like they take such good care of her. I couldn't be more grateful. So she was having the time of her life. She's so young. She doesn't even know we're gone. I don't even know if she knew we left, but that kind of helped, right? It kind of eased the pain of leaving her, but it's worth doing for the value of your relationship. We both kind of talked on this trip about the value that it's given us as a couple. And I think we've added to our life in so many ways because we've had these travels. Like we've pulled bits and pieces and just kind of taken something that we learned from here and there and just like applied it to this beautiful life that we've created, that now we've brought a child into. And it doesn't always happen perfectly like that for people, but take your kids places. And now we can take Sophia back to these places we've been. We can share our stories with her, and then it will plant us together as a family. And so that's the beautiful thing about having the shared experiences, is we can now teach her. We can educate her on what we've learned. And it's not from opinions, it's from experiences. And that's the most valuable asset to bringing this to her life, is now it can be an asset to her life based on what we've observed and learned. So I thank you, mamas, for listening. I hope that this was informative. I know it's a shorter episode. My daughter has not woken up yet this morning, and I have to get started with the day. I'm a full-time working mom. But I appreciate you guys listening. And if you want more content like this, message me. I'm happy to dig further into our travels because it's extensive. And I've helped a lot of people make travel plans. I've had people come to me and ask, and I share a lot of our story through social media because I hope that other people feel inspired. And I don't want to just do things and hold it for myself. I want to share it with other people so they can benefit from the beauty of these things too. So have a wonderful day. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel. This is so important to me, to build this community of mothers, and together we can keep creating beautiful content. So Have a great day. Please join us every Tuesday at 10 a.m. for another episode on the Mamas Who Brunch. Thank you.